And Fernando Alonso may well cool himself down. He's been quite hot under the collar in the past couple of seasons, not getting the race results that he wants. And he's back on the top step of a podium. And Eddie, Jordan, what a way to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Formula One, the oldest team on the top step.
Well, I think it's very befitting. Ferrari, who've been there, they've committed all of their marketing and their exploitation of that particular factor. For all of those years, that's where they spend their money, and we're delighted that they do, and let's hope they continue to do so, because today was a magic day for them.
And Fernando Alonso has spoken about arriving at Ferrari and feeling very comfortable very quickly, and he looked pretty comfortable in that new Ferrari F10, didn't he?
Yeah, what a dream start for him. You know, he said he's been wanting to go there for several years to win the first Grand Prix. If you remember, Kimi Räikkönen managed that, his first Grand Prix victory for Ferrari in Melbourne a few years ago, so he'll be delighted with that start.
Well, Fernando in a Ferrari was just one of the stories ahead of this brand new season. The other was Jenson Button and his attempt to keep hold of the Drivers' World Championship, and we can now hear from him. He finished 7th in the first race of the year.
Looks like you had to work hard out there today.
Yeah, I mean, the first stint I didn't know what was going to happen to the tyres, so at the start of the stint I was taking it easy. I was a bit sad that we pitted when we did, because I felt that I had looked after tyres a little bit too much. Because the last sort of 5 laps of the stint I was able to push and catch Webber and Michael. And then Michael obviously pitted the lap before me, which helped him quite a bit, and he was able to pull away, but I jumped Webber in the stop, which is great. Really good pit stops by the guys. Lewis and myself both jumped someone, which is really good. And then really it was initially pacing myself with the tyres, and then I started pushing, sort of with 20 laps to go. Caught up with Michael, and I couldn't do anything then behind him. You know, I didn't have enough pace in the middle section to stay with him, to have a go at him in the last section. So yeah, that was a bit disappointing, but it was still fun all the same.
What was your main worry out there today? Was it a lack of downforce, tyres? I mean, what do you think?
Well, initially I was very cautious with the tyres, but they seemed to be, you know, holding pretty well, which is surprising actually. They were better than I thought. I don't know. I think we're pretty good at looking after our tyres, our car. But there's always room for improvement, and I think yeah, we all want more speed and we all want more downforce. But setup-wise, the car was okay. There are a few things that I need to look at to make it a little bit more my style. But it's a good first race. I'm reasonably happy with that.
As he should be, points on his McLaren debut for Jenson Button, but one man who I'm sure is more than reasonably happy is Rob Smedley, Felipe Massa's long-time race engineer. Before we get into the intricacies of this particular race, your emotions about seeing your guy up there after last season?
Well, massively emotional, to be honest. Really happy. Really, I mean, I was happy yesterday, but today I'm obviously really over the moon. You know, we had the capacity to win it. They didn't all fall our way today, but I'm absolutely astounded, you know, for him to come back as a man initially, then as a Formula One racing driver is massive emotion.
We got used to last year occasionally hearing you say to him, like, come on, Felipe, baby, and things like that. Today, did you have to encourage him along at all, or was he just cranking out the lap
I think
times?
I called him Felipe baby once, Dave, and I've regretted it ever since. No, I mean, today was more about managing the race. We had a few difficulties with the fuel consumption, with the engine temperatures, a lot from the very beginning. It wasn't the easiest race, to be honest, so he was managing the race right from the very start. So for him to finish in second and do the pace that he did, I'm astounded, to be honest.
Great day for Ferrari. We'll remember 60 years on and doing everything that you did. But I want to ask you a kind of a different question. How challenging for a Yorkshire man working for a great team like Ferrari? Tell us your little view on that one.
Quite difficult. I don't think they understand my Borough accent, but they're getting there, you know. No, it's fine. I mean, I enjoy it. They've been really good to me from day one, and they've taken me in, and hopefully, you know, I've reciprocated, so I'm happy there.
Good boy.
Okay. Eddie needs to work on his geography, but you don't need to work too much on the car. That's a really nice looking car. Is it a championship winner finally?
It's very early to say that. You know, it went very well here. We have to keep up the pressure, you know, with what's going on back at the factory, with the drivers, with everybody working here in the track. You know, it's just non-stop now. It's going to be 18 more races of hard work. You know, it's just, we're happy with what's going on here. Let's see in Australia.
It's some season, and we're not far into it. Thank you very much for joining us. So happy day for Rob Smedley, but what about for his driver, Felipe Massa? We can now hear from him with the other two boys in the drivers' press conference.
Fernando, a winning start for the new relationship with Ferrari. Obviously, passing Felipe at the start was absolutely key, but just tell us your emotions right now.
Very special day for me. Obviously, coming back to the top of the podium is always special, but I think it's even more special with Ferrari, with all the history behind the team and all the expectations that a driver has when drive a Ferrari. So there is no better way to start the relationship. I'm in the best team in the world. We've been working very hard all winter. The guys did a very good job in winter testing, so we arrived quite well prepared for this first Grand Prix. We did nothing so far. We only won the first race, but definitely to be first and second is just the result that all the guys in Maranello and all the guys here in the track, they deserve this result because they've been working day and night to give us this fantastic car. So this first victory is dedicated to all the people in Italy, all the mechanics here, to President Montezemolo, that everybody did a huge effort to have this car, and the first race and this result is something very, very positive and very optimistic for the rest of the season.
Felipe, a podium on return from injury from you, but tell us about that turn one battle with Fernando from your point of view.
Well, first of all, I think it's just fantastic to be here. So thanks God that everything is great. Being here, competitive, with a good car, and being right to do the whole race in the normal and very good pace. So I think it's really thanks to God that I'm fine. And I'm very happy, and thanks to everybody who was really supporting me in the difficult time, at home, in every country. So I received incredible letters, and a nice message at home, which gives me even more motivation. So, and the race was really good and fantastic for us. It was a bit strange for me. For sure, I didn't have a good start, and I lost the position, an important position in the first corner to Fernando. And then the race was just great for me. The car was just perfect, so I could manage to follow him for the whole time on the soft tires. And then when we put the hard tires, I was so quick straight away, and I catch him in a very good way. And then I started having a problem, definitely the whole race in terms of temperature in the car, and the temperature made a lot of fuel consumption. So I started to save fuel. Maybe in the last 25 laps, even 30 laps to go, I was saving fuel, and then it was nothing to do anymore. So I was also lucky because of the problem on Sebastian Vettel to pass him and gain some more points. And I was also lucky that Lewis was not so quick at the end, so I could manage to save a lot of fuel and also hold the position. So it was not an easy race, but just fantastic, the result at the end of the race for the team, who did a great job for a long time. For Montezemolo, who was pushing very hard since last year, I was speaking a lot to him, so it's very nice to this position. So I'm very happy, and it was also my best start of the season. Be finishing on the podium, second in the first race. I think I never did, so it's just a fantastic start.
Well done. Lewis, you lost ground at the start to Nico Rosberg. You got him back in the pit stops, but how do you feel overall today about pace and the race?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Fernando and Felipe. It's great to see Felipe back, of course, but also to see Fernando back up there. But for us, I think I had quite a good race. Unfortunately, I lost a bit of ground. Broke a little bit late into turn 4 with a lock-up and went a bit wide, and then I was in a very bad position, and Rosberg got past me. And unfortunately, I was held up behind Rosberg for the first half of the race. I was much faster, I think, but just wasn't able to. It's very difficult to follow here whilst trying to look after your tyres. So unfortunately, I think if I was ahead of him, I think maybe I would have been able to carry on and follow the train these guys were creating. But nonetheless, I'm very happy we ended up getting past him. Strong result for myself and the team. It's definitely probably more than we expected this weekend, but a great job from them as always, and we need to continue to push to keep up with these guys.
And trust me, Lewis Hamilton will be pushing from now until the end of the season. So the guys who were struggling at the start of last year seem to have found their mojo. Fernando Alonso picks up the first win, and as you heard there from Felipe Massa, that's his best ever finish in the first Grand Prix of the year. Sebastian Vettel, a real heartbreaking day for him. He was leading until he slipped back. Nico Rosberg, first blood to him. He beats Michael Schumacher. Jenson Button there, you can see finishing just in front of Mark Webber, who had a few issues throughout the afternoon. Antonio Liuzzi and Rubens Barrichello also managed to pick up points for Force India and Williams respectively. And then towards the back we managed to pick up some of the new boys coming into the sport. And look at this, Heikki Kovalainen ahead of Sebastian Buemi in the Toro Rosso. That means that Lotus on their debut have beaten just one of the established teams and a few non-finishers, Senna, Glock, Petrov, who didn't manage to complete the race, and following up at the back here, De Grassi for Virgin Racing and poor old Chandok for Hispania Racing, who really has had an opening weekend of his Formula One career to forget. Just talking about the guys at the back there, that is some performance from Lotus today.
Arguably, probably team performance of the weekend for me, to come here with such little running, everything new, everything hazy in front of them. For me, I think Lotus, magic job, well done to the team.
Well, they definitely deserve praise, but I think that, you know, this is Grand Prix racing. It's all about winning. So, you know, we've got to focus on the guys that were running out front. I think the Red Bull have laid down the marker and said that we've got a very quick car. If they'd not had the problem with the exhaust, I think we can expect they would have won. But nonetheless, great debut for Fernando Alonso and Ferrari.
Yep, DC there, turning our attention back to Red Bull. And talking of Red Bull, let's hear from Sebastian Vettel now. As I said, he was looking good for the win, but the car just couldn't hold out. Let's see what he has to say.
Sebastian, a difficult day. It's ironic that while other people couldn't catch you, it was your own car that caught you out.
I think you said it all there. Obviously, it's a pity, but you know, what can you do? I think all in all, there is only positive, except the failure this weekend. At any conditions from Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, I think we were one of the quickest. I think we had a very good control of the race. We were on top of the strategy. I think at any point I knew how my tires are, so kept quite good control. Tires and brakes, everything, you know, was running smoothly. And at some stage, I think it was 15-20 laps to the end. Obviously, you could see it quite clearly. Then lap times dropping. I just lost power. We don't know yet what it is. It seems something mechanical broke. Luckily, we could continue and secure fourth, but you know, we should have won really.
That fourth might prove to be crucial at the end of the season. I mean, how much was it in your mind just to keep going throughout that race?
Well, not easy. I mean, obviously, you know, you are leading, everything is fine. You just have to bring the car home. And then we had the failure. Then, you know, initially you don't know what it is and if it's going to get worse or better. At the end, it seemed to kind of recover, but for sure it wasn't great. So. Cost us a lot, but you know, I don't know how many points you get with for fourth position now. I think in the past you got 5. Now I don't know, but 12. So it's still important points.
Well, I can think you can tell. Look at Sebastian there. He's just ruining the moment that car started to break up on him. And actually, that's an important point, because perhaps we could be talking about him as the defending world champion if there weren't reliability issues last year. And Red Bull want to nip this sort of thing in the bud sharpish, won't they?
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen whether that's an actual team part that's failed or whether it's something that's been supplied by Renault. We see Renault let them down several times last year. And as a team, you're only as good as all of those elements together. So it does seem to be an Achilles heel. OK, well, I'm standing alongside a man who endured a few battles on the track with Michael Schumacher, the man who gave him his debut in Formula One in 1991. They both watched today with incredible interest. And let's hear from the man at the centre of their interest, Michael Schumacher.
Michael, 6th place today. Is that good enough for the return of Michael Schumacher?
Well, it's as good as it could have been. You know, it's the start, and then after it's just sort of go your pace and not do mistakes. Overtaking basically impossible, other than somebody makes a mistake. Lewis had a little one, so Nico was able to pass him. Got back past pit stop, and that's about it. I mean, that's the action we're going to have with. Unfortunately, this kind of environment of race strategy. But anyway, it was good fun, especially the beginning. And now we're going to work forward in order to catch up what is in front of us.
How enjoyable was it? Was there a second when you were driving around there you thought, yeah, this is why I came back?
There were many of those, yeah, definitely.
And on the downside, any particular problems that stuck in your mind with the car that you can fix for Australia?
Well, I mean, you see, there is those new rules with the tyres that everybody has to cope with. I struggle a little bit with those, I have to say, but after 3 years not being there, I guess it's natural that you have to find your way into new bits and pieces. The team and myself, we're going to work on that.
Well, let's ask the same question to the guys here. Is 6th on his Formula 1 return good enough for Michael Schumacher?
For Michael Schumacher, it's probably not good enough, but in actual fact, for me, looking at the situation, what was confronted in front of him, I think it was a good result. Yeah, actually got the car home, he learnt a lot.
Learned a lot? He knows everything there is to know about Formula 1.
But he learned a lot about the new car. He talked about the tyres, the rules. Where he's making a mistake is he's not quick enough on the first lap on new tyres.
Okay.
Yeah, I think his race performance was very solid. He was edging up towards Nico, and I agree with Eddie, actually, amazingly. Yeah, he just needs to work on that one lap performance.
I certainly don't believe it. And if you'd like to agree or disagree with Eddie, then you can watch the highlights tonight for yourself. All you need to do is join us on BBC 3 for the highlights of tonight's Grand Prix. That's at 7 o'clock on BBC 3 this evening. You can see Fernando Alonso and his surge to victory. And if you would like to join us for the next Grand Prix, and I'm sure after the last couple of hours you definitely will, then it's in 2 weekends' time, the Australian Grand Prix live from Melbourne, the weekend of the 27th and 28th of March. And in between being here and being there, it's a very special weekend indeed as everyone gears up for Sport Relief. Only you'd had James Corden as your personal Formula 1 trainer, David. It could have all been so different.
Kissing his head after a sweaty race, yeah, that would have been lovely. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, maybe he was also coaching Helen Skelton, who, of course, paddled the full length of the Amazon. Some incredible feats for Sport Relief, so do get involved. Please do run the Sport Relief Mile. Very quickly, how does Formula 1 2010 look to you, Eddie?
Yeah, it's different. The refuelling, lack of it, is exciting. We'll see how it goes, but it's a good start.
Yeah, I think we've got to give it time. You know, everyone's settling into this new formula without pit stops. And, you know, the mark is in the sand there now, the strategy we can play out from here.
OK, thanks very much for joining us for the first Grand Prix, but we are going nowhere. If you would like to join us for the F1 Forum, then we'd love to hear from you. You can drop us your emails, f1@bbc.co.uk. You can also head to the BBC Sport website and send us messages via Twitter. We're going to be either on the red button or the BBC Sport website for the next little while, digesting everything that's happened. But as far as today is concerned, the early glee belongs to Ferrari, but there's still quite a journey in front of them. Thanks for joining us.
And we're away now in 2010.
Working hard to get my feel. Everybody wants a thrill. Paying anything to roll the dice. Just one more time. Some will win, some will lose. Some of them just sing the blues. Oh, the movie never ends. It goes on and on and on and on. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights.
Fernando Alonso wins for the first time in 2010.
What a start.